I'm looking up there.
Hello, everyone. It's H&D again with the special video.
I'm Herman.
I'm Dee, and we want to talk about our Mexico consulate experience and 6 things we think you need to pay attention to have a successful visa experience. So, first of all, we wanted to share who we watched to get ready
Hmm.
because um, there is nothing new and you can learn from everyone. So let's tell you who we learned from.
Well, we watched Why Not Now with Stephen and Lisa Marie. The video was How to Move to Mexico.
And I found one of the first videos from Angela and Lamar. And the title of their video is Applying for Our Temporary Residency Visa. We will leave the links to those videos in the description below, but also we'll link them at the top of the page. So these videos taught us these things that came in handy. So the first one is read, like read everything.
Everything.
Even though there might be some small changes to what they ask you for, if they ask for something, just be prepared to show it, whether it's the economic solvency statements or having copies of your passport. Like, come with what, at a minimum, what they ask for so that you don't have to come back for another appointment. We drove to Atlanta, which was 4.5 hours from our home. So we don't want any mistakes. So we almost over prepared.
Not only read what they give you and the instructions they give you, but also read what information you provide. Make sure the information is complete and matches the information that they're asking for in the order that they're asking for it. A common mistake I always make is if they ask me for my last name first, I write my first name before my last name. Write the information, provide the information as it's requested, and then review what you've written to make sure it is correct. Check your vocabulary, check your spelling, check your information.
And anytime you have a question about what goes in a category, err on the side of leaving it blank
Absolutely.
because you can fill it in while you're there.
Correct.
So the next thing is get organized. So I took this from Angela. She bought one of those accordion folders, and each person in her family had an accordion folder. So they allow you to put your documents in order and separate them because what our consulate officer or agent asked was hand me the item that I asked for.
Mhm.
We didn't hand them all of the documents. So when you're super organized, they love that, having things paper clipped so that you can hand them a complete set of documents at one time in date order is really important. So being organized helps you to give them exactly what they're asking for and reduces the amount of shuffling of your paperwork. So I'm actually going to show you
Yeah.
the stack of papers that we took with us. So there were 3 of us that went to this consulate visit, and each of us had a complete set because we did not know if we would have one agent that assisted us or if we would be seeing separate agents. So we were organized and over prepared. So
As a part of that, each person who's old enough to be responsible should be fully aware of all the information that's being provided. Therefore, that way, if anybody needs to singularly provide the whole information due to any kind of emergency, everybody understands the information that is being provided. Our 17-year-old son went with us. We went over the information with him. We each had our separate information, but we all understood what the process was so that we had to be together and only allow one of us to speak and they chose who that person was who would be to speak, we all knew what the process was and how to move forward. So part of that organization is a cooperative effort between all parties involved from your
Mm-hmm.
house.
Mm-hmm.
That helps it move a little better as well.
Absolutely. So the next point cannot be overemphasized. You have an appointment time, you've gone through all of the effort to finally get that golden ticket appointment for your location. Be on time,
Be on time.
be early.
On time is not at the appointment time, it's
Correct.
way before. 30 minutes is beautiful.
Or earlier. So we were able to get an early morning appointment, which meant we left our city at about 3:30 a.m.
Mhm.
so that we could have an extra hour to account for traffic and if something happened to our vehicle and we needed to get. So, if there is anything that you can do, this is a step all on its own is to be on time.
Correct.
So, the the next one is to be extra. Now, I don't know if this is just my personality, but like I said before, I don't want to come back. So the extra documents that were not listed that we said would be helpful were our marriage
Marriage
license. We
license.
took the original, but I think they would even accept a copy because we qualified as a married couple, and so you would need to show that you were eligible to have your partner counted under your income for the income solvency.
A copy of our son's or your children's birth certificates.
Yes, I took mine just in case, y'all. I wasn't sure why they would need it, but I was not going to have to go back. And then we brought extra copies of our application,
Mhm.
blank copies, so that if we made the mistake of putting last name first or signing incorrectly in a blank, that we could immediately start with a fresh application and continue and complete everything together. Bank statements. So we took checking account statements, savings account statements, investment portfolio statements, because if one set of statements for economic solvency did not apply, then we had another set that did meet the qualifications that we could show also. So I just kind of being extra and over preparing, I think, is so critical. Angela talked about her children being adopted, and so she brought all of the backup paperwork
Mhm.
that confirmed the adoption, the official adoption that had she and her husband's name listed. So these are, just the little things thinking about what could a government official request to confirm that you are eligible to apply for this visa. And I'm almost saying this is extra, but I mean, check your expiration dates. If
Mhm.
your US passport has less than 6 months on it, don't even schedule your consulate appointment because you're probably going to need at least 6 months left on that visa to for them to put the stamp in it because you'll have 180 days to go to Mexico and complete the Conhe process.
It is better to have it and not need it than to
Hmm.
need it and not have it.
Absolutely. And probably the last thing is know your why. So we talk about this on our channel a lot, really being clear on why you are choosing to move to Mexico. Getting that appointment takes a lot out of you. Especially if you have more than one person that you need to get appointments for and you're trying to get them on the same day, near the same time. Um, they do check that.
Hmm.
If you don't have an appointment for one person in your party, they may not let you in. So it takes a lot to get that appointment. So just make sure that that you've got these things in order and that you know exactly why, because they asked
I was getting ready to
us,
say
and
they
because
did ask.
Rashida Dow was the one that talked about her visa experience in Miami, and the gentleman asked, "Why do you want to move to Mexico?" Please, we saw how poorly not being able to answer why you want to become president turned out for Kennedy. So we want you to think critically about your why you want to move to Mexico, because
That's a real question.
that is a real
They asked us
question.
not only where, but why.
Hmm.
And we each had to answer that question individually.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So we are excited to share this part of our journey. Starting in your home country is where you start the visa residency process
mhm.
for Mexico. We'll do a separate video on the Conhe process that we completed when we went to Mexico City. So that'll be a video for another day. All right.
We look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely.
I'm Herman.
I'm Dee.
This is H&D Abroad.
Bye for now.